Good afternoon. We're going to talk about centering today. And what we're going to be talking about centering is where our hands go and what we're doing with our hands. The biggest problem with centering is understanding how the dynamics of a ball of clay works and how we need to have our hands in a certain place to get it to do what we want it to do. So today what I'm going to be teaching you is how to press on the clay to get it where you want it to be. And what I'm actually going to create is an exercise when we're done with this that will teach you before we ever make the clay. Now I'm going to show you using a piece of clay, and then I'm going to show you with a dry run so you can see my hands doing what we want them to do. So we have a ball of clay, we kind of pat it into a circle, we plop it in the middle of the wheel, and we always smooth it down at the bottom like that. Now, for the purposes of explanation, this clay is not centered. As you can see, it goes around and around. We are going to force it into the center. Our arms are always caught in our hips or on the corners of our wheel. Our hands are always braced together. And over the years, I don't do it as much as I should when I demonstrate, but normally when you're working, you keep your hands locked together to give you more rigidity in your brace, okay? And the very first thing when we're centering, we press it down to make sure it's stuck to the wheel. So we take that palm, we press it down. Now we still have it way out around, and the outside hand, the left hand, this part of your hand is operating. The right hand, this part of your hand operates. And what we're doing is we're going to push with this hand, and when that happens, the clay will rise. Then we're going to push down with this hand, and the clay will expand again. So watch this. Pushing up. See how it's rising? Now, you see how the hands are locked together? This side of this hand presses down. While this hand's pressing down, this hand basically shepherds it so it doesn't get away. So watch. See how it's going back down? Now it's still not centered, then that's the thing. But watch. We'll speed it up a little now that it's sort of there. Now we go up again. Now we just do this. Up, and then up, and then down, and then up. Now if you go up and down like this, approximately 4 to 6 times, look, it's looking centered. And you see how my hands are locked together? You see how I have a sponge in my hand to keep the moisture content correct? But basically I can do this 3 or 4 times, and just like that I've got a centered piece of clay. So that's that part of it. Now what I'm going to do right now is we're going to clean our hands. We're going to pop this little guy off of here. Okay, there's that centered piece of clay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put a wheel head on here that's empty, and I'm going to show you how you want your hands to work, okay? So there's a wheel head, and there's the wheel, and my hands are nice and clean. Now this is the exercise that I want you to work on. You're going to do this about 3 to 5 minutes, maybe you could go up to 10 minutes, but just a few times, long enough to start communicating with your hands. What we're trying to get is for your hands when you get here on Thursday to understand what they're supposed to do. So first, they feel the clay and they notice it. This one is placed on top of the clay, and this one's placed next to the clay. You lock your thumbs together. First, you push in with the side. Then you push down, and see how my hand goes back? You see that movement? The top one goes down, and my left hand goes to the side. Then the top one goes up, and the left one comes in. Then the right one goes down, and the left one goes out. And you see that movement? So the exercise we're going to do is we've centered it, or we've set it in the middle. This one goes down, and when this one goes down, this one goes out. And then it goes opposite. You see that? And that's the movement I want you to do. And just practice that movement for about 3 to 5 minutes each night before bed. I want your mind to be thinking about that movement. And the second half of this part, when we center like this, is having control of the clay. So it's really important to think about you're in charge. This is all about you being in charge of the clay. And when you do that and you move your hands that way, you will be in charge of the clay. See you at the class.